There are 8 parts of speech that are very important, very essential in English language. In this video, we are going to talk about all those 8 parts of speech in a very basic and simple language. په عموم کې موږ اته مین پارت اف سپیچ لرو، مین د کلام اجزاوې لرو چې په دغه ویډیو کې به موږ پر هماغه د کلام اجزاو باندې بحث کوو او په ډیر اساسي او بیسیک شکل سره به زده کوو. From those 8 parts of speech is going to be noun, pronoun, verb, adjective, preposition, conjunction, interjection, and adverb. We are going to talk about all these 8 parts of speech one by one. So the first one is going to be noun. What is a noun? What does it use for? Look, to be very simple, I can say that a noun just names a place, a person, a thing, or maybe the idea you think of. Noun یا اسم چې دی دا په خپله د یو ځای یا د یو شي یا د مثال په توګه سره د یو ایډیا چې موږ دغه په اړه فکر کوو فقط هغه نوموي، فقط د هغه نوم دی. لکه د مثال په توګه سره for example we are having so many examples of noun around us, like for example a dog, a city, a teacher, computer. All of them are nouns. Afghanistan, Kandahar, all of them are nouns, but there are different types of noun that we can categorize them later in the coming videos. In the second part of speech we are going to talk about is the pronoun. What is a pronoun? Pronoun یا ضمیر څه شي ته ویل کیږي and for what do we use it او د څه شي لپاره موږ دا استعمالوو. A pronoun, it takes the place of a noun in a sentence to avoid the repetition of a noun. A pronoun, it is used to avoid the repetition of a noun in a sentence, so it usually takes the place of a noun in a sentence. For example, he, she, it, I, you, we, they, all of them are nouns. And we usually use them instead of a noun because we don't want to repeat the noun again and again. So to avoid the repetition of a noun, we use the pronoun instead of that noun. That's simple. And we are having just the same like noun. It also has a lot of types, and we are going to talk about that later. ضمیر چې شته ویل کېږي، ضمیر هم د ضمیر لکه څنګه چې مثلا دا هم هغه حروف دي، هغه الفاظ دي په انګلیسي کې چې موږ دا د اسم پر ځای باندې استعمالوو تر څو په یو جمله کې د اسم بار بار یعنی د تکرار مخنیوی وشي. د دې لپاره په یو جمله کې د اسم پر ځای باندې چې استعمالیږي ضمیر استعمالیږي. ډېر ضمیرونه شته چې د هغو د جملې څخه ځینې ساده لکه he, she, it, I, you, we, they دا ضمیرونه چې دي موږ په یو جمله کې د اسم پر ځای استعمالوای شو تر څو د اسم د تکرار مخنیوی وشي. اوس دا چې ضمیر یا pronouns څو ټایپه لري په دې به موږ په راتلونکي ویډیوګانو کې بحث کوو. And the third thing we are going to talk about in this video is going to be verb. What is a verb and for what do we use a verb? Well, a verb shows an action or a state of being. A verb shows an action in a state of being. Just look at the sentence. A verb shows an action in a state of being. Verb موږ ته یو عمل ښکاره کوي یا مثلا یو حالت راته ښکاره کوي. verb په واسطه سره کولی شو چې مثلا یو حالت ښکاره کړو لکه مثلا to be verbs دي چې د دې لپاره استعمالوای شو. همدارنګه for example there are plenty of verbs around us, plenty of actions that we do usually. All of them, we can show all of them by just verbs. And all of them are called verbs. For example, eat, that's a verb. Have, is, etc. There are lots of verbs. The next thing we are going to talk about in this video is going to be adverb. What is an adverb? But before adverb, let me tell you adjective. What is adjective and for what do we use adjective? Well, adjective usually it describes and modifies a noun or pronoun. It tells us like how many, which one, and how. It usually tells us these things. Adjective یا صفت چې شته ویل کېږي. صفت چې دی دا په خپله یو صفت په خپله یو اسم یا هم ضمیر موږ ته بیانوي، تشریح کوي، modify کوي راته. The next part of speech we are going to learn is adverb. What is an adverb and for what do we use it? An adverb, it describes a verb, it modifies a verb, an adjective, or even another adverb. And it also includes like how much, like how many. We can in like the amount of something, or the we can say the quantity of something. We can describe it like by an adverb. For example, we're having plenty of adverbs in the most the ones that people usually use the most is like the very, like for example, like quickly. These are the adverbs that we usually use in the daily life. adverbs یا هم قید شش ته ویل کیږي. قید په خپله موږ ته یو صفت یا هم خپله یو بل قید او یا خپله یو ورب څه به کوي ته موډیفای کوي. ډېر adverbs ته چې د هغو د جملې څخه مثلا ځینې دي چې هغه موږ په ډیلی لایف کې په ورځني ژوند کې یا مثلا په ورځني انګلیسي کې هغه ډېر استعمالوو، لکه quickly، لکه very، لکه well، لکه here or never. These all are called adverbs. And we will talk about the types of adverbs in the next videos, as I said before. In the next part of speech we are going to talk about is the preposition. What is a preposition? For what do we use it? In how many of them do we have? Well, preposition shows the relationship between a noun or pronoun or another word in the sentence. It shows it is usually used for the location, time, or direction. And the most common prepositions are like in, at, on, under, behind. All of them are the prepositions. Preposition یا هم حرف ربط دا چیش ته ویل کیږي. دا عموما د noun او د pronoun، د noun یا هم د یو pronoun او یا د جملې د یو بل لغت او همدارنګه د جملې ترمنځ دا موږ ته ریلیشنشپ یا هم هغه رابطه راته ښکاره کوي. چې دا عموما د لوکیشن، د موقعیت، همدارنګه د وخت او د دې ترڅنګ د ډایرکشن د ترلاسه کولو لپاره یا هم د ویلو لپاره موږ دې څخه استفاده کوو. چې ځینې عام چې دي په دې کې هغه لکه in، on، at، under، behind. All of them are the prepositions. In the next part of speech we are going to talk in this video is conjunction. What is conjunction? It's very easy, it's very simple. A conjunction connects words, phrases, or clauses. That is the function of a conjunction. What is a conjunction used for? It is used to connect words, phrases, and clauses. What is clause? What is a phrase? These are the things you have to learn in the next video, and you will learn in the next video. The difference between a clause, a phrase, and a sentence. What are they? What are the differences between them? And what are the relationships between them? We will learn them in the coming videos. Wait for it. In the most common conjunctions are like and, but, or. These are the most common conjunctions that we use it very, very like we use them a lot in the daily life, in the conversations, in our speech, a lot. In the last part of speech we are going to talk about is interjection. اخیرنی کوم د کلام اجزاو څخه چې دی هغه interjection دی. Interjection خپله چیش ته ویل کیږي؟ What is it used for? د چیش لپاره موږ استعمالوو؟ Look, interjection is used to express a sudden emotion. It is used to express a sudden emotion or feeling. It usually stands alone. We will always see this kind of words like alone, not with a sentence, not with a clause and everything, not with a phrase. Sorry, we would just see them alone. Like these expressions are like when someone is like, you know, suddenly they got surprised, so they said like wow, hey, or so these are all called interjections. And among all these part of speech, most of them are having their types, and we are going to categorize them in the next videos so that you will learn them even more deep. But for the first view, for the beginner students, they have to learn the part of speech, mainly how many part of speech are there in each one. What is it used for, each one of them? هر یو د څه شي لپاره استعمالیږي دوی یعنې هغه بیسیک لرنینګ باید بیسیک زده کړه باید ستاسو سره د دوی وي چې مثلا د هر یو د څه شي لپاره استعمالیږي. بیا د دې وروسته چې مثلا په دې هر یو باندې تاسو پوه سولاست چې هر یو د څه شي لپاره استعمالیږي او همدارنګه څو دانې پارټ اف سپیچ موږ لرو د هغه وروسته موږ په راتلونکو ویډیوګانو کې هر پارټ اف سپیچ جلا جلا په جلا جلا ډول سره د هغوی د ډولونو سره تشریح کوو. تر بلې ویډیو پورې ښه ورځ او ښې چارې.